So, welcome to the public pitch. It's the moment you all been waiting for, I hope. And we're here to listen to some amazing pitches, not given in the table out there in the business zone, but here before you, in front of our beautiful experts. We will have 5 brave contestants who will tell us everything about their project, why it's good, and why publishers should give them a go. As the role of the publishers in this event, we have 3 of our experts right here in the front row. First, Alex Nichiporchik from tinyBuild. I've heard he turned tiny ideas into big success. Alex, would you like to introduce yourself?
No, I think you do a great job there.
Well, next is Nathan Sölbrandt from Xsolla. Nathan, how it is that you ended up bringing this event to us with Xsolla?
Yeah, I probably need more of an introduction because we're sponsoring the event and that's why I'm here mostly. And I work with indies. We have Xsolla funding. It's a matchmaking platform, helps connect indie developers with publishers and investors. So that's why we're here.
Well, thank you for bringing it all to us. And finally, a new expert, Itai Edry from Miniclip.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Lisbon. Very excited to have you here. Yeah, from Miniclip, we're a big developer, big publisher for mobile games. Bring us your games.
So, we have a quite diverse set of experts specialized in mobile games. In PC and console games of all kind, and people who actually bring funding to those from Xsolla Funding Club. Well, now I will explain you a little bit about how this show gonna unfold, because we have some house rules, but also a bit of a spark to what's going on today. You might have noticed a little bar that we have here, and it's all in the, well, reward part. The reward can be as in for the great pitch. Then we will have a drink of a choice of the developer who will be able to savor it and enjoy the beautiful Portuguese drinks, alcoholic or not. But if the pitch is not so good, the experts will provide feedback. They will indicate the content side, the delivery side, and also what can be improved. So when the time comes to pitch to the actual publisher, to the company of their dreams to work with, they will know how to improve those. We have a scoring system that consists of a simple binary solution. Thumbs down, thumbs up, and depending on the combination of those, if you have 2 or more thumbs up, it's an amazing pitch. We will still provide feedback, but we will know that this is something where you can really see as a great delivery. Well, if not, we will have to play a little lottery. I have here a few figurines that will allow me to pick the poison, in a way, not a real poison, that developers will have to take. So, without further ado, I will want to give the stage to our first developer with their game Omua by Edry Studio, presented by Vitali Korshov.
Hello.
So, are you ready to pitch? You equip with the microphone, and I give you this beautiful clicker. It has all the buttons you need. And what can I say? The stage is yours. Once you give it a go, we'll start the timer, and you'll have 5 minutes to present it. You ready?
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
Let's do it.
Hello. Greetings for everyone. My name is Vitali. I am producer and co-founder of Ukrainian game studio Edry. I want to express my gratitude to this wonderful city, all people, and organizers for their hospitality. In these dark times, for my country, for Ukraine, we're creating a game in which we want to show that even in darkest hours, even in chaos and disaster, there is a hope and light. So, let me introduce our roguelike RPG game, Omua. It's a mobile single-player game with unusual character. It's Omua. He fights against evil that destroyed his homeworld. And the main goal of this hero is to restore their home. So, for these missions, we create some game classes. It's skillful scout, it's powerful mages, and mighty warriors. So, we want to combine in our games deep and fascinating RPG story with the simplicity of roguelike gameplay. Our hero can explore a lot of locations, fights monsters, discover this game secrets, progress, collect artifacts, and perform the missions. And of course, fights against huge monsters. Sorry. Our strategy is create live and very simple game. We plan to create new location, new characters, new missions, new monsters, and of course new heroes every quarter. So, the game will be free to download in App Store and Google Play, and will contain in-app purchases. It's new characters, new storylines, and new adventures. What about status right now? Right now, we testing game, it's early access in App Store and Google Play. We collect reaction of our users and feedback from our testers. And we hope in the starting of the next year, we release a first game chapter with first huge game story. I want to say a big thanks for all our team, core team and team who involved in our game development and arts during our game development. With their talent and professionalism, we want to create, and I hope and I believe that we create a really unusual and great game. So, thank you, and if you need more information, we can see our page in App Store and Google Play. Thank you.
That's quite a power play here, finishing 1 minute early. Such a pace, such a delivery, a strong will from Ukrainian developer here. So, now we have a bit more time to the not so easy sometimes questions to answer from our experts. Who want to be the first? Alex, please.
Why did you decide to do a mobile MOBA?
Omua, it's wanderer. Wanderer from anywhere. It's from Hawaiian language.
No, I mean, why did you decide to do this genre of game, right? So you're making a free-to-play MOBA. Why are you doing that? Yeah.
Look, we want to combine two classes of gameplay. First, it's simplicity roguelike play, yeah, for mobile. It's very simple and very comfortable to play in mobile devices with roguelike gameplay, with some features. Second, we want to put in this gameplay very deep and interesting stories that will combine with game legend, world legend, missions, and quests. And we want to discover the storyline during some years and to add in the game new features, new stories, new characters, and other. So we want to combine and we want to make a new decision for mobile gameplay.
Okay, so my question about why, right? Because there are so many MOBAs out there that are already popular for like 10 years. Going into essentially the most competitive genre when you have a full-on, like you have a lot of people there and you can tell that there's quality. I'm just wondering like, what's the team's favorite genre? That can be an offline discussion, so I'll leave it to my colleagues over here before we do the vote, and then I'll have some add-on comments.
Cool. Well, yeah, first of all, thumbs up for Ukraine. So that was a good start. Very cool to see that. Was that all in-game footage, or are you blending it into animations as well? It looked like you were blending a bit.
Sorry?
Was that in-game footage, or were you blending with animations a lot as well? Sort of.
Sorry, I don't understand. Gameplay for...
For you.
Was this gameplay? Was this real gameplay is the question.
Yeah, it's real gameplay.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
It's in the first chapter of presentation, it was early stage. In the final chapter, it's open beta.
Yeah. The pitch was visually very compelling, which is cool. It's just like the budget I didn't catch, and also an understanding of the space that you're operating in. How much money were you looking for?
Now, we have some steps. First steps, we want to collect the metrics. We want to see a reaction of our users, of our testers, and we will decide that later, because it depends with strategy when we will select.
Okay. All right, I'll hand it over.
So as a game, it looks polished. I liked that in your pitch you connected it to real-world events, even though the connection was not really there. And I like that you thanked your team at the end, and I personally like to do it, and I feel that that's the most important thing. But you had 5 minutes to pitch and to potentially get money from investors. I didn't get any of your business direction. How are you going to make money? You said in-app purchases, but how? What is the conversion? What are you aiming for? Is it vanity items? Is it power progression? And also, what are you looking for? Like, what are your needs? I think you could use that 1 extra minute to do that.
I will explain. Look, now game develop for the funds of founders. Yeah, there is a team of founders of this game. So we invest in this game. And in first stage, it's really most hard stage, yeah? It's first steps, very faults, very bugs. We want to realize that themselves. And after, in the next step, when we will see the metrics, retention, time in the game, what in the game is perfect, what in the game absolutely bad, yeah? So after that, we will make a next step, next strategy, marketing strategy, and other things.
So you're not really pitching anything right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the more I think about, right, you have a full stack team, you have great art, you need to have networking. I assume you're using either dedicated servers or some sort of peer-to-peer with authority hosted solution. All of those things are super, super difficult to do. And if you already have it in early access, that means that you've accomplished that. What baffles me is why do you go into the most competitive space in gaming on mobile, which is even more competitive as a platform, right? What I'm saying is, maybe it makes sense to look at what your team can do, right? and based on what you already have, expand that into a less crowded genre where you essentially find a niche that is underserved, and therefore you build a business case for why there should be a product that serves that niche. And this is how I would frame this pitch, right? Because if you were actually like doing a business pitch here, you would need to show us, okay, what is the market, how many players are there, how much money are they making, etc. And how you fit in there, well, you would fit in probably 50 games that launched this year in that genre that no one heard of because it's so overcrowded, right? So I'm actually really split. On one hand, I want to show this. On the other hand, I want to show this. So I'm actually going to show both because I'm really split on this one. On one hand, the production is there. On the other hand, the business case and the direction is not.
Can I answer? Yeah. We made a marketing decision and research. We know this case of game. We analyze all another game in the App Store, Google Play, in this genre. We know his strengths and his faults. So I think we will find our
I think we're out of time.
I will say that we will have to see with Alex already raising his things, his votes. Audience, please, what do you think? Join us here. Cheer or laugh or applaud if you think it's good, if you think it's bad. Let's make some noise. It is not that good. I'm sorry. But I believe that the case that you're building here and the feedback that juries gave you will definitely help you to reach the heights of the pitch. And you were first. You're the bravest of everyone. And hopefully, you gave them some thoughts. I see them making notes. But now, we will see your reward apart from everything. It's black. Nice little black robot. So, with this, I reward you with a nice Montevelho wine here from Portugal. Straight to the cup. Relax and enjoy the feedback that they give you. Maybe it will lead you to a better outcome next time, but not today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I will just jump straight through it, and as you see, going first is difficult, and it is something to be appreciative, but now it's time for our second contestant. And do remember, it's also about the delivery, not only about how you pitch and what you pitch, but how you pitch it. So, Rebel, by Ministry of Propaganda, presented by Martin Eriksson. So, Martin, I think you can get this clicker and the microphone to prepare the setup. I'm gonna step down and get the stage to Real Rockstar, the developer of the game Rebel. Please, you ready?
I am ready. Let's do this. Let's do this. Great. So my name is Martin. I'm a developer, and I have worked with a lot of big international companies, which can be very rewarding, but sometimes also very boring. And when it gets boring, my brain starts thinking about games. At one point, I took those thoughts and made a Android game studio with about 50 million downloads. And then I went back to the corporate world for a bit. But about a year ago, my brain started going crazy again, thinking about games, and I had two thoughts. One thought was I couldn't find a good dual-stick top-down shooter that I really liked, and that frustrated me. I looked a lot around, and I couldn't quite find the right one. And another thought is a bit more of a political nature. When I get bored, I browse the news, and I got kind of saddened and puzzled by the fact that it seems that autocratic regimes seem to be on the rise. Various flavors of dictatorships are blossoming out there. They're doing great. And it made me a bit angry, and it made me want to rebel. But I didn't live in an autocratic regime, so I couldn't rebel. And if I had, I probably wouldn't have had the courage. So instead, I decided to make a game where you rebel against an oppressive regime. You pick any everyday hero that is brave and stands up to injustice in the this little game world that you live in. Right. How do you think that goes? Not very well. The regime doesn't appreciate your efforts, so they send wave after wave of goons, SWAT troopers, even the military, to quench your little rebellion. The enemies get stronger and stronger, but so do you. You can level up as you go. It's kind of a roguelite, a very simple roguelite upgrade system that I put into the game. If you're really good, you'll encounter some of the most formidable ministers of the regime that are sent out to get you. Some of these guys, they'll arrive in a big tank and they'll create havoc. Yeah. And that's these guys. Yeah, we'll let it stand for a minute and go. All right, so what is Rebel and what sets it apart? I made it to be very straightforward and easy to pick up. It's not too long a windy story. I did away with this pixel graphics that seemed to haunt a lot of indie games. Maybe it's just me, I didn't really like it, and I think 2023, let's do a little bit better. Yeah. What's next? A demo says more than a trillion words, so you can try it today on Steam. There's a demo, there's a QR code up there. I love making games, that's my passion. If your passion is helping with marketing of games and publishing, I'd love to hear from you. Catch me after this talk or email me on my email address right there. Yeah, that's basically it. So plan to release on Steam. I also think this game could do really well on consoles or on Switch, like handheld stuff. Yeah, I think I'll just beat the previous guy by 22 seconds and stop here.
That's amazing. I honestly believed that we're having a pitch competition, but it's speedrunning competition now. Oh my. So, Martin, I really see the appeal of that, and I'm a rebel myself, but that's not for me to judge. So let's see what our experts have to say.
While we have the presentation up, can you go back to the slide where you had other apps up? Were those your apps?
That was my apps, yeah.
Can you maybe talk a little bit about that so we can use your minute? Because I was waiting for you to talk about those, but...
What's the question?
I was waiting for you to talk about these apps and how they became so successful, and you didn't. So can you maybe do that?
Sure. These were, so they're not really related to my current game. These were launched about 10 years ago when Android was quite new, and therefore I didn't need a big marketing expertise because there was like no games for people's phones. So they're like, oh, a game, yay! And like, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, you should probably then clarify that when it's part of a pitch, right? Because if it's one of the opening slides and then it kind of goes like, oh, you know, like 10 million fucking downloads. Yeah, like take my money. Like, oh, that was 10 years ago, right? Yeah. So,
yeah, good point.
What I really like about this pitch is the sense of humor. Humor always breaks the ice for people, so you kind of like build a connection there. Yeah. And what is really interesting here is, you know, like it's all about the relevance and the politics. It's really difficult to make politics funny, because usually you will make half of the audience laugh and the other half hate you, and then when you apologize to the other half, everyone actually ends up hating you. Yeah. So my question here is, what exactly are you looking for? So in the end, you had like you're looking for marketing and this and that. Can you maybe start with that, and then I'll leave the microphone to my colleagues.
I'm looking for marketing. Some feedback and sparring on the game as well, but definitely marketing and help with marketing. Money, not so much, unless we went if I got some very good sparring and we decide to take the game in another direction, then I could maybe need funding.
Yeah, but okay, so let me maybe elaborate my question. You said you have a demo on Steam, right? You're looking for marketing. When you look for marketing on mobile platforms, that makes sense, right? There is a CPI, budget, and whatnot. But you have a demo on Steam, so what's your target platform?
I guess I mean publishing more than marketing. Yeah.
Right, across all platforms, or do you intend mobile to be the focus? Do you intend PC or consoles?
Across all platforms, yeah. Initially Steam, but also bringing it to Xbox, Switch, etc. Yeah.
But you need to choose a side here because mobile first and PC/console first, premium they're different ball games.
Yeah, I'm not targeting mobile with this game. My previous experience was it's very saturated, and I don't think this game is spot on for mobile. So I think it's a bit.
Okay, so it is premium PC and console, or is it free to play PC and console?
What's the last?
Is it premium? Is it premium or free?
It's premium.
Okay, so premium PC and console. Okay,
yeah,
got
premium, and there isn't that much content, so which I recognize. So I think a price point of about $3 is what I'm working with right now. Free, maybe $5. Yeah.
Thanks to the pitch. I mean, it was hard to imagine a more different beginning to a pitch than the first developer, where you're just like, yeah, I want to rebel, but I live in a nice place, so I've decided to make a game about it. I thought that backstory was cool. You could tell by the audience reaction, a lot of people are engaged and intrigued by what you're doing, which is always a really good start. As Alex mentioned, if you can make it funny, that's not always easy to do, but it certainly left me wanting to know more about the game, and I'd be very intrigued to understand how those elements come together. You spent about 1:20 with the backstory, and then you left 1:20 on the table. In a 5-minute pitch, that's a pretty bold thing to be doing. It would have been good to see a bit more around a timeline. If you're self-funding, that's great. How many team members do you need? It's okay to be looking for a publisher just for that marketing expertise, but if you can get a lot more of that information across, it'll probably help you a lot moving forward with the pitching.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I actually disagree with Alex. I think it was great that you showed the 10 million, 50 million, and if that impressed me, like he has street cred, and if
but
I
it's context, right? I know, 100 million from like 20 years ago, right?
But if it's up to the publisher to ask the question, I didn't think about asking that question. I'm not as good as you, and
Well,
therefore
that one's on you, okay?
it's true, it's on me, but for him it worked. You know, I'm like, oh,
okay,
this guy
fair
has
enough.
street cred.
Fair enough, yeah.
So for him, it's a nice move to do, and I think the concept is funny. I completely agree with Alex that going into politics and making a joke of it, I think it's the role of artists, and I think it's great that you're doing it, but it needs to be done right. It needs to be super on point, because the world is very shitty, and it needs to elevate and give good experience to the users. And I didn't feel that from the presentation. So I don't know exactly how you're doing it, what's the angle, and that was what was missing for me a bit, kind of a bit more context about what the game is about, what are you going to do. I got the premise and the starting point, but not the evolution. And the last point, I know we're out of time, is that I find the character design to be a bit bland. The art of all the generals was great, but then the characters...
Was that AI art? It was, right?
Yeah, you mean the portraits? Yeah, that's DALL-E free. Right there.
Yeah, so maybe just pick a genre and go crazy on that genre. If it's simplified Roblox-like, just stay with that and make that crazy.
Okay.
Otherwise, I feel like you put effort on the illustrations, but not on the actual characters, and it's a bit of a uncanny valley. Sorry.
I'm pressing the imaginary button, telling that one thing that you learned from it. What would you change about your pitch right now, still standing on the stage after hearing all of this?
Not a damn thing.
And that's a rebellious thing to do. Round of applause while our juries are raising their scores. It is, in fact, a great pitch, and you were right. It was a trick question, and I didn't even know it when I was asking it, but it turned out to be. But then, we don't play the lottery. You took the win, and then you can take a drink. We have a couple of those, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and even a lime Coca-Cola, the bottle of water, whatever your heart desires. As a winner, you have a right to take it. Do you want lemon? Do you want ice?
I'd love ice and lemon.
Oh, absolutely. By any means, all the victories are tasting as good as this drink. It was a nice moment, and thank you very much for delivering this pitch. I'm looking forward for the game release, and well, let's show some of those dictators their place. Thank you. Another round of applause for Martin. Well, we have our first great pitch of the evening, but it's not done yet. We have 3 more to go, and the next one is The Fog by Scaphandar Games, and presented by Maria Serda. So, Maria, I see you already found your way to the artifacts of this tournament.
I managed.
Wow, this is great. Now, let's learn from the others. Moving fast is not always meaning that you arrive to the destination you want to get. So take your time. You have 5 minutes, and let's hear the pitch.
Thanks. Okay. So, interactive visual novels are a small but actually curious segment of the gaming market. They generate about $30 million per month. They are quick and cheap to produce, and they're super emotionally engaging, and they have a growing audience. The problem is that they are also very silly. You know, silly is the soft way to put it. A lot of them are plainly toxic, harassing, and quite disgusting, actually. And they're all so cheesy and sleazy that it seems to be that it's basically the law of the genre. But what if it doesn't have to be this way? So I'm presenting to you quite a weird studio called Scaphandar Games. And my name is Maria. I'm a human rights activist and a screenwriter from Russia. And unlike Martin, I had a lot of experience with rebelling. So, you know, when you live in Russia, you don't have issues with that. So at some point, I thought, actually, no, sorry, get back. So basically, I was working as a human rights communications consultant. I was helping human rights groups reach to their audiences, and I, by mere chance, discovered interactive smartphone novels. And I thought, what if we can make something which will be so engaging and addictive and fun, but also share a cool message? Having no idea what I'm getting myself into, I decided to give it a try, having zero gaming experience as well, game design. We decided to make our first interactive novel with a Kyrgyz foundation called Open Line, making a game about kidnapping of women to force them into marriage. It's actually a thing in Central Asia. You can grab a girl, put her in a car, and she's supposed to marry you to avoid shame. So we made a novel about this. You play for a first-year student in Bishkek University, and your best friend is being kidnapped. You have to actually find out what happened to her. You appear to be the only one who is trying to save her. Then there's all the fun part. There is a love triangle. There are 2 sexy love interests to flirt with. There is a bitchy influencer who is trying to make your life horrible, all the fun part. But then there is also, the fun part. But then there is also educational content. As you play, you uncover short bits of text which tell you important things about laws, human rights, culture, history, blah, blah, blah. Here's some translation for those who don't speak Russian. And if you pass some tests, you can score the points, which will help you unlock premium plot twists. So our modest goal was 25,000 downloads. We got 200,000 downloads. We spent like 1,000 euros on advertisement because we basically didn't have more, and we got 7,000 worth of free publicity. 4.7 rating, so basically Kyrgyz girls went crazy about the game. They really, really loved it. And we immediately got commissioned by UNICEF Kyrgyzstan to make another game about child marriages, which we did, and this is how Scaphandar Games Studio was founded. So basically, our mission is to bring the power of interactive stories to people who are fighting for human rights, justice, equality around the world. And this is what we're doing. We released 2 games. Successfully. We are now working on our 3rd, and this is a bigger challenge because now we're dealing with the problem of propaganda in Russia. There is no need to explain with so many Ukrainians and Russians in the room why it's important. So this is a mystery novel which will teach Russian teenagers about how propaganda works, how they can, do fact-checking, navigate themselves in the environment where everyone is lying to them. It's going to be released next year. So, I'm not actually going to ask you for money, not because we don't need it, but basically because what we need more is advice. We are at the moment a non-profit. We are 100% working with the money from charitable foundations. We could technically continue this way, but we don't want to. We want a more sustainable business model. We don't want to get dirty rich. We just want to generate at least some profit to become more flexible, to be able to do more games, to be, diversify and explore new opportunities. So we want at least generate at least 50% of our annual budget through selling something. The problem is that our customers are not really, the current players are not really able to pay. We're not targeting those who have the money, we're targeting those who need us. So usual business models don't work for us. So basically, we're asking you for advice about business models which could work for us. We have some ideas, just I didn't have time to talk about them. About potential markets we could go to, and the markets where we shouldn't go to because we have really no idea about how to do this, about monetization tools and models where we could use, distribution, ways of distribution which could work for a studio like this, and partnerships, brand partnership, business partnerships, I don't know what kind of partnerships. So we know how to make awesome games, we have no idea how to sell them. So that's it. If you have any questions, I am good with timing, see?
For this one, to be honest, I'm out of jokes. It's an important topic, and I'm humbled to be hosting this. I will rather spare this time for the experts to give their advice, because, well, you're here for this. Please.
Yeah, also, I forgot contacts. Please, if you have any advice for us, yeah, get in touch. Yes.
Great pitch. Very engaging content. Not only the subject, which is important, but the content and the way you presented it with shock value at the beginning, but not the shock value that we would expect. I think it was a great pitch. Since you're asking for advice, I think that the normal, usual solutions will not work here, right? So I think just top of my head, the best approach would be to maybe try and partner with the stronger interactive novel players in the market. Episodes, and all the others, I forgot all the names. I think they are always looking for, or they should be looking for, ways to give back, and you're not in direct competition with them. And you can publish your novels on their platforms, and people that are engaged with their platform, I think, will give, will donate. We're doing free-to-play games, and we have very elaborate systems for conversion and very dedicated user base. And from time to time, we do charity events where all the revenue goes to some charitable cause, and people convert a lot more on these events because they feel fine. Yeah, they get something.
By events, you mean in-game events?
In the game, yeah. You play golf, and you pay $5 to join this event, and all goes to charity. So on these charity events, people convert much more than usual. Because, yeah, they get something and they can play a round of golf, but they also feel like they're giving back, so they feel like they're not spending their own money, they're spending for a good cause. Yeah. And I think that can work if you partner with some of these big players. They will not be threatened by it. Allow people that are not your audience to play the game, like play the Fog. I would play it. I'm not the target audience, but I would convert. So I know for every $1 I put, it's whatever, 100 more people that can play the game somewhere else. Yeah. So I think that's an interesting angle you should explore.
Yeah, thanks. That makes sense.
Yeah, I thought good pitch, very compelling. As mentioned, it's probably not the traditional pitch that you would look for. So I am seeing a lot of this, not this specifically, but a lot of people that are looking to use games to tell stories that have a kind of impact and a real social cause. There are, I know we can probably talk afterwards, but I'd be going to NGOs. I'd be also talking to, I know there's someone at the UN that I'm in contact with who's been at a lot of gaming conferences, and I think they're increasingly seeing the value of video games to tell these stories or to communicate and educate. And certainly the feedback that you had on your game, your first few games, is a testament to that. So I'd be looking to go kind of that route and see if you can leverage their brand a little bit to maybe then help you come to a bigger player that's looking to help you with a lot of that user acquisition and a lot of the stuff that, as you mentioned quite clearly, is not what you've spent much of your time doing. But I'm happy to have a conversation with you afterwards about that as well.
Great, thanks.
I think here localization is actually key because, well, like having dealt with games with a lot of text, it gets very expensive very fast. And I'm one of those weird people that on Steam I have all of my filters turned off, so I see everything that released on Steam. And when you go down that deep rabbit hole of like, what is this? Oh, it's adult content. But there are a lot of niches within Steam that may be close to this. So I would just try and repackage those games and see how they do on Steam. Because there are audiences for graphic novels, know that for a fact. And maybe there is other business models that you can leverage here. And partnering up with an existing established label that does some form of adult content might just be the place to go. So I will fully support that idea as well.
Okay, thanks.
So there is not too much to add, and I'm afraid I will be very surprised if the juries would not all raise their
Don't jinx it.
tablets, but let's see. Nah, it is a great pitch, and I would ask you to enjoy a drink, maybe just a glass of water, maybe something more fancy. We have a, absolutely. That's a very humble choice for a very humble pitch.
I just want to say that the pitch was very good. It's not just because of we felt bad because of the subject. The pitch was actually very good.
Yes, it was different pitch. What we usually get here is the pitches that are early in a stage where people are looking for a feedback or to test their idea. Is it kind of a sanity check, bouncing their ideas off the hall full of people? And it takes a bravery. So even for that, Maria were added to this list mere minutes before the show started. And this is a great surprise. Maria, thank you again. I would ask another round of applause before I announce the next contestant from the Perfect Dice. This is our next game presented by the studio, Tilt Station, and Nikifor Shalayev. Please come in. Well, take the stage. Show us your game. You have 5 minutes, you know the drill.
Yep.
And roll the dice.
Yep. Hello, everyone. My name is Nichiporchik. I'm sound designer and composer for this game. Unfortunately, other team members were unable to visit this event, so I will be presenting this pitch today, and I will try to make it as clear as possible and entertaining as possible. So, let's get to it. Genre of the game is deck building roguelike. It's cyberpunk setting, pixel retro styled game. Target audience. I guess it's fair to say that this game is for enthusiasts for this genre because we present mid-core, hardcore balance with a lot of variation in deck building. So our main platform is PC, but we're thinking about portation if we will have such resources in the future. Gameplay time you see on the screen. So a little bit of our game inspiration. You know, every time you played an XCOM or Darkest Dungeon, you may lose not because of your actions, but because of like pure chance. So this is what the Perfect Dice is about. We are giving you a chance to control this randomization because, you know, randomness brings a lot of misfortune in the life, so this is what the game is about. A little bit of our setting. Imagine a dystopia where people cannot make any conscious choices. Everything in your life decided by the roll of a dice. It's like pretty weird. So our main hero is like rebellious member of this society, so he's looking for a perfect dice. It's believed that perfect dice is the dice which always rolls a number you want, so it basically means that in this universe you always have freedom of action. So our game is about randomness management. I think it's pretty clear. So a little bit of a core loop, usually, so I take my I will read. In order to make randomness management the main feature of the game, we changed the core loop of most turn-based games. Usually, at the beginning of a turn, a player starts with a certain position, information, analyzes it to find the best solution, and puts theory into practice and implementing the strategy. In Perfect Dice, our game, the player also starts with a certain situation, but cannot think out the strategy of the whole turn in advance, as it is impossible to predict the results of roll of a dice. So, here we can see that we have like 6 random numbers generated each new turn. In order to activate a desirable card, you need to hit this number with a roll of a dice. So, here you can see the example of the card activation. We have like basic dice here. You put it into card, you hit the number, and you hit your enemy. From now on, the main headache of a player will be the desire to roll necessary numbers all the time. As I said, you use basic dice in the beginning of a game. The fallout is very random. But yeah, let's move further away from this. We have different types of dice in the game. As the game progresses, like a big variation of those dices, and combining them with the mechanic of the other cards, you minimize the influence of the randomness basically to the 0. So, here we can see the example of a gameplay. Yeah, I need the text. So, okay, let's speak about a little bit distinctive features of our project. I will keep the previous slide. So, in Perfect Dice, we don't have a tedious number management. Basically, all you have like health points and energy, which determines the level of a damage, and a shield. So, and of course, in our game, there is a need for multiple strategies per turn. You may have plan A, but you're obliged to have plan B, plan C, and plan D basically in one deck. Because during the game, you're collecting not just cards, and you don't have like basic choice of cards, you have also, you're collecting the dice. You're combining dice with each other, so you have a great build variation, and all those multiple strategies exist in your deck like simultaneously. And it's required to have from a player to make on-spot decisions after like having the result of roll for dice. So, moving to the conclusion. I guess for now on we are looking for help with marketing and community building around this game. We're looking for publishing. We're planning to make a release in the first quarter of 2024, but I think we're ready to postpone this release to build a greater community and make a proper management for the game. The game is 85% ready technically, so we're on the latest stage, like polishing the game. Main markets is Steam. I guess like price is pretty average for this game, so here we are.
Well, what was that as not a dice roll? And let's see what our experts think. Definitely your dice might have landed in the big number.
Okay, so the pitch was 5 minutes, right? And we saw gameplay 2 minutes before the end. And then before that, we saw references and comparisons and this and that. So what I'm saying is that the structure of the pitch is not good. You should start with gameplay. You should not be ashamed of it. You should emphasize the name of the game, right? Because I forgot about, as you were talking about, because you talked about Darkest Dungeon more than you did about the premise of this game. And with, like, the focus is just completely off. Like, you go completely zoomed into specific mechanics and features while we don't understand what the game actually is. And to me, that just felt really disconnected. And also, like, at the very end, you say, okay, the game is like 85% complete. if it's 85% complete, then you should have spent like 3 minutes just speed running through the content, the features, the amount of hours, the playtests you did, the KPIs you have gathered. That just screams that the game is not at 85%, right? And also, if it is at 85%, well, where is the fantastic key art, right? Where is like the eye candy to it? Because the game, like when you had the video, it actually looks good, right? That was the best part of the presentation, was the actual video. Okay. So I'm just critical of the structure of the pitch. The game might actually be good, but I'm very critical of the structure of the pitch.
May I say to you, like, I totally agree with you, like, the structure of a pitch. Actually, for me, it's really, really hard to manage a lot of information in these 5 minutes, because I'm not very experienced as like me as a player in deck building games, card building games, and my game designer, he's more experienced in that. So I try to give this information for you as clear as possible. So I think like it's really, really hard to speak about the type of games where everything in the mechanics, interesting mechanics, and the cards and dice is like a lot of technical stuff in 5 minutes. So yeah, I will use this advice in the future to make this presentation more clear. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay to be inexperienced, and that's the great thing about doing this is you get direct feedback from Alex that you probably otherwise wouldn't get. So it's a really good reason to be here. I think that the pitch was a little bit disjointed, and like you said, you're kind of zooming in and then zooming out a little bit. Typically with the pitch, you just want to get the conversation. So you want to be doing as much as you can to just show that this is a good opportunity and try and get Alex or whoever else to want to know more, and then they'll deep dive at that point. I was really impressed, I think, with the visual component of the deck in terms of keeping the theme that you've got around the cyberpunk and the pixel art. I think one thing that really frustrates me with a lot of decks is we're in such a visual industry, and then the decks can be really, really bland. So they'll show artwork, but the rest of the deck doesn't have that theme. So that was really cool. One little thing at the end, you kind of said, like, we're 85% done Q1 2024, but we're ready to postpone if we have to. I would probably just keep that out and then have that in the conversation if that's something that they want to talk to. But I wouldn't be kind of advertising that you're also expecting to have to postpone release or something like that. But overall, pretty good.
I like the name of the game, Perfect Dice. I think it's great sounding game name to the theme that you have, which is also pretty cool, where you have no free will, so people are looking for that perfect dice. I am going to say something maybe controversial, maybe I'm the only one that thinks that, but it's just, I get so annoyed always about another pixel art game about cyber futuristic universe. Just your theme is so unique. Just be unique in the art style. Be unique in the theme. Maybe it's just me, and maybe that's just people like on PC.
I really like that sort of stuff, so
Maybe,
I don't get sick of it. Yeah, I don't get sick of that.
People like it, maybe, and
maybe
that's okay.
I can add a little bit to this, because we have a very small team of developers. Basically, the project started with one game designer and a programmer. For right now, we have like, oh my god, like 5 people over there. So we decided to stick to the pixel art because of the financial question. And game designer almost made this game by his own fundings. That's so pixel art was.
I have one final question.
Yeah.
How many sides the dice have?
6.
Count with me. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not sure how to count it, so maybe the audience can help me. Was it good? Was it not so good? Wow. Wow. We just had a tiebreaker. Then come with me to the land of the drinks of your choosing. There may be people who have better questions and better answers, but you get to choose the drink. Do you want this one, a little rosé, but I'm of course joking with you.
Just
rolled,
water.
You rolled critical on this one, and we know that the fate brought you this bottle of the refreshing water. That's wrote in the script. Actually, I didn't do it. He just changed his fate somehow. So, there's just one pitch between us and a closing ceremony of DevGAMM Lisbon 2023. Are you ready? So, please welcome Crab Raid Tactics by ex-Tenebers, Stefan Satchikov. Well, I'm always nervous when someone getting around my back to get to that tribune. Then I'll just get off and leave your 5 minutes to present your game. Let's go.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction. Hello, DevGAMM. My name is Stefan. This is Crab Raid Tactics, a single-player game which combines real-time strategic combat with a roguelike game loop. The story goes like this. A squad of crustacean heroes set out on a raid to pillage the coast for all things shiny, and they know how to fight, but they don't know how to win the battle because they don't know strategy and tactics. But you do, as the raid leader, and you're going to tell them. So, well, like telling others what to do and where to go from time to time, right? So if you do, thumbs up, this game is for you. As in any other roguelike dungeon crawler, you move from one encounter to another, completing objectives, fighting bosses, getting rewards, but instead of one hero under your control, you now have several to worry about, and they all come with their own abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. And those abilities they use on their own. What you need to worry about is positioning them on the battlefield, moving them around, telling them where to stand or where not to in case they decide to make a stand in the middle of a raging fire. As in any other roguelike game, combinations and powerful upgrades are important. So here, each of them can be upgraded to fit a certain role on the battlefield. And to top that, there's an elemental power system. Crabs can be attuned to different elements, like, you know, sand, ocean, wind, greed, normal things in the life of every crustacean. And by attuning to those things, they get some special powers, much like you get godly powers in Hades, for example. But unlike Hades, there is an extra layer to that. So those elements, when applied together on an enemy, trigger powerful elemental reactions, which produce some wondrous effects, make the game total chaos, and let you completely destroy the game balance I have lovingly created for you. Speaking of Hades and other inspirations, there were many, and some of them you might find actually surprising, like what the hell's World of Warcraft doing there, for example. And I would tell you that the key experience I want to deliver with this game is this squad commander fantasy. It's being in control of a small squad of heroes, leading them through fire and flames, helping them completing the objective, and feeling smart about it. And in that sense, being a raid leader in World of Warcraft was one of the key experiences for me that I wanted to share with you here. Let's talk about production for a second. So the game is already as a demo on Steam with some minimal amount of content, just bare bones, but ready to be shown to target audience, get some feedback, iterate, make the game better, start building the community. I've been mostly working on this game on my own, not counting independent contractors. It took almost a year. I was working part-time, but I was able to keep the cost fairly low, so low in fact that I think I actually got this. So the numbers you see here, they're not an ask. There's what I call a self-sufficiency budget I set for myself. So yeah, I'm good. But speaking of that, who the hell am I exactly, right? Hi, name is Stefan. I've been in the gaming industry for almost 10 years, worked on projects big and small, indie teams, AAA teams, mostly mobile and PC. I am a developer by trade, but I also have worked as a product manager, dabbled in game design and narrative writing a little bit. I wanted to share some spotlight with an amazing team, amazing contractors that I worked with that helped to bring this game to reality. Xsolla is an incredible pixel artist and animator who is responsible for that cute crustacean face you see over there, and the logo too. And for the unique genre mashup like this, like the unique music is important, so I am collaborating with Firna, whose personal music style I admire very much and find very fitting to this kind of gameplay. And then Yernev Tichar, marketing generalist, has joined me recently on the team to help bring this game to the masses. Now, I'm self-sufficient and all that, and as a skilled developer, I know how to make a decent game with a limited amount of resources that I have, but I also know how to make a better game with the resources that I don't yet have. So if you do, I'm actually looking for collaborations. Here's what I'm actually looking for. I'm open to collaborations, big and small, full-scale publishing deals, or just one-time contracts where I cover all the expenses. If you like what you saw, I would be happy to work with you. Please reach out. That being said, I'll leave some generic information about the game on the slides, ready for your questions. Thank you very much.
I think we just got a great impression on what is it to have a multidisciplinary game developer here, perfectly structuring the pitch, delivery, and it might be enough to impress me, but maybe not our judges. They definitely have something to say, so let's hear it.
Okay, I like the structure of the pitch. It lays it out really well. What I don't like is that you mentioned a bunch of things that you don't follow up on. So for example, you say, oh, we have a Steam page. How many wish lists do you have? Oh, we have a Steam demo. Oh, how many people played it was the average time spent, right? So can you, like off the top of your head, do you have that data?
Yes, I do. And to be honest, it's not complimentary because I haven't started, I set up a Steam page quite a time ago, but I wasn't big on the community building because I followed the advice of just starting the page as soon as possible with minimal assets that are there. And my initial positioning of this project was quite wrong. So this is kind of the next iteration I did after posting something for Reddit and gathering some data. There's 150 wish lists right now, not very much. And this is basically before I did all this presentation you just saw. This is quite a shift of a direction. Hopefully, it is the right one.
So don't mention that you had a previous iteration that didn't work well, right? It just doesn't sound good in a pitch. And then when you do, the positive way to spin about it, like if you do get into a conversation about that, you just go, oh, hey, we had this iteration, it didn't work. We learned from it, and now we're doing this iteration. But you do need to follow up, because the best thing about any pitch is hard data. If you have hard data, hard numbers, like if you say, like, hey, I got the Steam page up, don't say I didn't do community building. No one cares about that. You had a Steam page. The algorithm did not pick it up. The users that did see it did not wishlist it. Therefore, it got buried, right? So bury that. Make a new app. Make a new Steam page. And this is actually a trend that I've seen over the conference. Several people have told me, "Oh, I didn't do this and that." Why don't you kill the app? Like, why do you have an app that is not tracking? Kill the app. Make a new one with new art, and try again. Right? That's my feedback on this presentation.
Awesome, thank you very much. That's an actually interesting piece of advice I haven't heard before, so thanks.
I thought it was a good deck. I enjoyed it. The visual components were cool. You got a real feel for the gameplay in there. Looks pretty well polished, which was good. I was a little bit confused by the numbers you had around like 12 months. You'd spent 12 months on it and it was 4,000 euros or something.
I was part-timing, so it was mostly assets and like cover some of the costs like repository and stuff like that. So I relied heavily on the marketplace assets. So apart from the people I mentioned, those things were taken from a market store. I'm a programmer myself, so all the art here is obviously not mine.
Yeah, so typically what we would recommend is either leave that number out or account for your own time, because your time is valuable, and often when we're looking at builds, we want to know how long have they been working on it and how much time have they spent. Because if the build's a certain way and you've been working on it for 5 years, that's a lot different if you got it there in 3 months. So I'd be a little bit careful in throwing those numbers in. They don't seem super relevant, but that's a very, very small piece. I thought it was a good deck.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the pitch was quite nice. I would say that you never know who you're pitching to, and I felt that you could have framed the game a bit better in terms of what platforms are you going to release it on. It helps publishers, at least it helps me, to understand, okay, where do I need to place it on what what hat do I need to wear now? And that information was only on the last slide. Similarly, is it premium, freemium, free-to-play? That was not clear because the game can work on many different platforms, and indeed you are planning to release it on many platforms. So I think that was missing for me. The rest was very informative. I understood the game concept, the direction, the depth, even though I didn't understand the game, but I understood that there is depth and there is a clear direction. So that was well made, in my opinion.
Thank you. With that, you want to address some questions?
I guess not. Is there anything I need to address?
No, but I would love if you join us in a little, not a crab raid, but a crab rave. Let's support the developer. While the juries are putting up their votes. It's a great pitch.
Thank you.
I congratulate you. I think now you're equipped well to bring your crabs to victory. But first,
we are only giving the blue like if you drink something strong.
Absolutely.
We can't have someone else taking water.
We got an amazing Portugal original, but you can go. Like, victory is allowing you to make a choice. Maybe 2 of those.
2 of those?
Well, we can make a cocktail, right?
Yeah, we can.
Ah, yes. It's gonna be a wine cocktail with wine. Any people from Portugal who are against mixing 2 types of wine? It's appropriate, right? So we're not offending anyone. And do you want some ice in that?
Yes, of course, and a lemon too.
Amazing. Look at them mix. Well, right now the jury are debating, I hope, who is the winner of this contest, because surely someone from our winners was better than, well, the other winners. If you... Oh my God. The strongest will, the programming mind, and the delivery of a true indie developer. So, oh my God, I have so much respect for this person. I saw him the first time 5 minutes ago. We had 5 pitches today. Omua, a mobile game, MOBA, that was first and had our respect for that. There was a rebel who were setting out to defeat quite bizarrely evil dictators, aren't they all? The Fog, the game about the impact on the lives of the people of the regions where not everyone are equal. Perfect Dice, about the luck that's sometimes not on our side. And the crab raid tactics. So, I would just ask you to pick up the mics and tell us who of those are taking our prize today.
So we need to give one answer from all of us.
You can each one tell yours. Maybe they're all different, and we'll ask the audience to.
We'll pick a winner.
Okay, then I'll be a little clock, like tick, tock, 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 tick. I guess we are about to get out of time. My time on this stage is almost over. I'll leave this world in a few moments. Join the audience. Leave the spotlight. But they're still debating. Their ears are closed to my suffering. And indie developers are eager in anticipation. Let's support them with a round of applause, because the conference is about to be over. The organizers are already here. They want to tell you how grateful they are. But first I'll tell you how grateful I am for leading this pitch. And I want to see the winner any moment now. So, do you have a decision?
25 more minutes. Okay?
Is this how the games are getting developed those days? It's not on me. Don't look at me, Lerica. I'm doing my best.
We decided it's Alex now.
So, are all developers who pitched for the public pitch today are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We have a winner.
So, tell us, Alex, who is the winner?
Crab rate tactics.
Last to go on the stage. First, to get back on it, I'll give you the prize for this. The tickets for the DevGAMM Danks. And you can bring one team member, apparently. So, congratulations and thank you very much